Greetings, YouTube. I apologize if my eyes appear a little strange today. I had them dilated for an eye test. My eyes are fine, but they are kind of slightly blurry, and my lights are really bright right now. Pardon me. The other day, I was having an exchange with an MRA member, something I don't ever really enjoy. They always think they're so clever. They aren't. And in the exchange, he brought up the sentencing disparity between men and women that have been given the same charge. Men often receive harsher sentences. Um, and he wanted to know why women weren't protesting for equality in this particular endeavor, why they aren't asking for harsher sentences or men to have less harsh sentences. Which is when I ended the conversation, because someone that has that particular view is not something I'm going to waste my time on. Now, this is a wonderful example of how misogynists will blame women for problems that men have created and then expect the women to solve those problems. Women don't need to protest this because women didn't create it. Now, they can, of course, if they would like to see equity in the legal system. But our legal system was written by men. The vast majority of legislators that support the legal system are men. Most of the judges are men. Often the juries are a majority men. The toxic masculinity that supports our patriarchy is almost exclusively supported by men, though there are women that support it because they have been raised in it and they have been conditioned to think that toxic masculinity is the norm. So they support that toxic masculinity and the patriarchy because that is how they have been conditioned. They have been taught from birth that this is what men are right here. And anything that doesn't fit into this is tossed out. And anyone that doesn't fit in this is shoved in. And that's the problem. But men created this problem. Men laid the foundation. They built the walls brick by brick by brick until there was a prison system. Just like we should not blame black men, for the fact that black men get harsher sentences than white men for the same sentences, for the same crimes. Because black men didn't create the system that puts them into prison. White people did. Now, are there women that are gaming the system to get lighter sentences? Of course there are. If the roles were reversed, and women traditionally had got harsher sentences than men, would there be men that game the system? Of course there would. There will always be people that game the system. They're called cheaters. We'll look into evolutionary theory. They've always existed and they always will. You just have to accept that fact. But they're not the majority, and they still aren't the ones that created the system in this case. Even the women that are cheating the system, that are gaming the system to get lighter sentences, did not create the system, and they are not to blame for the system. Just like women, when they get harassed in the streets, are not to blame for the men catcalling them. Women that are sexually assaulted are not to blame for being sexually assaulted. Women that are raped are not to be blamed for the rapes. People say, oh, well, this is how she was dressed, or she shouldn't have been in that neighborhood. Oh, well, she was drunk, or whatever friggin' excuse they want to make, rather than admit that it's the fault of the person doing the harassing, the assaulting, or the raping. This is a common misogynistic tactic, and something I see in MRAs all the friggin' time, to the point where I will freely admit, if you tell me that you're a member of an MRA organization, I am just going to assume this is how you think. Because I have encountered so many MRA members and the men going their own ways and such, these anti-woman, anti-feminist bigots. And I have just encountered so many of them. I have been conditioned to accept This is how they are. But stop blaming women for systems created by men, supported by men, endorsed by men, because men are caught in the horrible cycle of toxic masculinity and the patriarchy it has created. Men built this system. Men have to take this system apart brick by brick. And then they have to shatter that foundation until it doesn't exist anymore. Men suffer from toxic masculinity every day. They suffer because of the existence of the patriarchy every day, just not as much as women do. And we need to dismantle them. And the people that built them have to be the ones that do it.